everyone. Happy Sunday, and welcome to the new year. So guys, it's January 1st, right? Right?
Yeah, right.
What year is it?
Oh,
That was a very
no.
calm intro you gave there, Reira. It was almost like a continuity announcer. And now, on ESC.
We broke the recording, guys. So welcome to ESC. No, not elvish space cows, despite the fact that, that'd be fucking cool. Those elves growing their cows in space. This is the Extreme Scrutiny Club, or the Extreme Scrutiny Chill right now, because this is just going to be a bit of a different episode. It's going to be a bit laid back. We're going to give out some awards. We're going to talk about things that we got wrong, maybe, and we're going to reflect on the show as a whole. This is our New Year's episode. And as you guessed, it probably should have come out around about New Year. But instead, due to some recording mess-ups and our good friend Craig shit in the bed, we're doing this now. So, of course, a lot of you know that we went on a bit of a hiatus. That hiatus has happened, but instead of going straight back into it at high speed, what we're instead going to do is we're going to, from now on, not stick to every fortnight stringently, and just every fortnight is a goal that we may not always hit. So from now on, if an episode is, in 3 or 4 weeks rather than 2, that's okay and normal. We're not behind schedule or anything. It may just be that we're taking some extra time to make sure that, our editing boy Mitch is getting everything done as perfectly as normal. And, we have stuff going on. So thank you all for, being fans of us through 2019. I don't think we could thank you all enough for sticking with us and enjoying our content. Every single one of you that's subscribed to the channel or listened to us on Spotify or, interacted with us on Facebook, we love you genuinely. So I am the Empress, and joining me today are...
Hi, I'm Oliver, the evil dork.
And I am Mitch the Orc.
Now, Mitch, I think, do you know what? Evil Dork's a thing. You're not as evil as we kind of make out, really, are you, Oliver?
I don't know.
What do you think, Mitch?
It's funny you mentioned this. What a coincidence. Yes, I mean, I've been doing some thinking. I think Evil Dork, it was coined on the spot and it kind of suits you, but I feel like we could do better, right? So, evil, dark is like dork, and you like your knights and stuff. So, I hereby, get on your knee, like I'm going to crown you.
Here's a sword. Don't ask where I got this.
Oh,
also, don't ask about the blood. It's okay, it's not mine.
Why is the handle all bloody? What were you doing?
It's okay, it's not mine. It's fine. Like, just put it on his shoulders.
Okay. Yes, Oliver, instead of an evil dork, I now knight thee, the Dork Knight.
Aw, thanks, guys.
I think that going forward, having a nickname doesn't imply that you're there to just spite shit. Makes it a bit nicer. And as much as, I kind of, go for evil Empress on top of just being the Empress.
I think, to be fair, we can all be a bit evil.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, like how me and Oliver we totally don't rip on Destiny. So no, absolutely not.
You had to bring her up.
And if you're playing a game of ESC Bingo, you can now tick off CGS references. Heck, ESC drinking game, take a shot.
No, don't do that, you'll drink yourself to death.
They'll die.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I think next year, if we do a an end of year wrap up, we should make it a drinking video around New Year.
I'm going to die.
That would kind of work, but it kind of wouldn't work because you two would get stupidly drunk, and there's me with my coat like, I'm still here, I'm fine. I just laugh at you two drunkards. It's cool.
We do actually have somewhat of a little agenda to get through today, don't we?
We do.
We have some awards to give out. We have some, what would have been Christmas, New Year cheer to spread towards the decisions we've made throughout the year and some reflections as well towards the end of the show. But should we get started with our first award?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go for it.
The first award is the ESC Bot of the Year, also known as the Ob Golden Overward. So, Mitch, what's an Ob Golden Overward?
I'm very glad you asked. So basically, the Golden Overward is an award we give to a robot from the last year, 2019. That we've all brought a nomination. It's basically best robots that we think for different reasons, and we just want to do something a bit fun, you know.
So I bought Salanta Frog. I think it did end up going to the arena when we first bought it for Bugglebot Series 1. And I think perhaps rightfully so, but looking at purely its appearance in Bugglebots, I put a vote against it because I thought that it had more to show and more to offer. And coming into 2019, Nick rebuilt Salanta Frog, an entirely new version with a 4-bar lifter that I was a little bit annoyed about. I was building a 4-bar for Bugglebot Series 2 thinking, oh, nobody else is going to have built a 4-bar. And then I saw pictures of Salanta Frog while I was halfway through building my robot. But it did a great service to the 4-bar cause, getting as far as it did. You know, losing unfortunately in the first round to Rust in Pieces, and then coming through the heat the way it did. Yeah, it didn't make it to the end, but it was a much more showy performance that really showed what the robot can do, especially in the 10-way second chance rumble, which was very unfortunate to have lost.
Very much so. And similarly on the point for getting as absolutely far as they possibly could with what I've brought Witch Doctor, I don't think anyone could have predicted. I mean, they definitely would have been in people's, upper echelons of choice, but Witch Doctor getting to the actual very final and just never giving up, never stopping smiling, and being just such an honest team are part of why I've elected them. But that leaves one more space.
So, speaking of BattleBots, I brought the Terror from Down Under. I brought Death Roll because, oh boy, if you want to talk about a glow up, this is it.
I don't think you've ever stopped backing them. From even before BattleBots started airing, you were completely behind them through and through. And I love that. I love the fact that you've never given up on them. And them doing well was your reward, essentially.
Yeah, it was a nice kind of surprise because I feel I've mentioned this before on the BattleBots episode we did. Well, we've done 2 now, but the one where I brought Death Roll. Death Roll was the inspiration for Nors. So, it was nice to see real life Nors just tearing shit up and, going undefeated for such a long time before losing to Witch Doctor. It actually lost to Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
I knew it was a spinner.
You see that because your one lost to my one gets an extra point. So yeah, that's how it works.
Was it? No, it was Captain Shredderator. Oh right, no, we're talking this season.
Okay, so yes, it lost to Witch Doctor, but it had such a good run. It really did some amazing damage to a lot of robots. Like, admittedly, I was worried about the endgame match. That was the very first one because it was being yeeted across the arena. I thought, that's it. It's not going to end well, but it got that shot in, and endgame died. That was a real surprise. Death Roll. I mean, I like the season 2 version, but season 4. It was nice.
You aren't lying about it being a glow up. Hot fucking damn.
Given that Mitch has never given up on Death Roll, petition to rename Death Roll Rick Roll in season 5.
I really hope we get a season 5. Not just because I want to see Death Roll get pretty much probably to the final this time round, but I want Nelly versus Death Roll. I want purple versus green. I want crocodile versus elephant. I want... No, wait, hang on.
No, I was going to say, hang on, Nelly went to pieces.
No, I'm calling Death Roll Rick Roll from now on.
Rick Roll. Oh dear. Oh shit! I just understand why you've made it. For sake. Oh. Oh,
I
no.
think we need a little breakout area for the orc to go into, please, so he can smash something to feel better.
I was like, what do you mean? Why call it Brickroll? I don't get it. And then it clicked, never give you up. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Fucking
Because
boo!
guys, Mitch is never gonna give you up. He's never gonna let you down. He's never gonna spin a clown. That's the lyrics, right? I know the lyrics.
He's never gonna wah around.
They're gonna whir around and hurt you.
Cries in Imperial. And we do need to settle on a for this award. And I present to you the fact that we have never had a woman get so far in such a massive, massive tournament. Witch Doctor never gave up. Witch Doctor always had smiles on their faces, and that bot never stopped.
Hey, I made this point in the
You did.
I think in the BattleBots episode that robot combat is something where it really gender doesn't matter. If you just build well and get ahead, there's no gender politics to worry about. It's just everybody is there to have a great fight.
It has been a very male dominated sport, but I feel that females and people of non-binary genders are really, really coming up in the sport as well.
Oh,
now.
absolutely.
And, speaking from personal experience as well, being outside of the gender norms does not stop you from excelling in this sport. And I feel that Andrea Delately deserves all the praise in the world for being a trailblazer. Her, Zoe Stevenson, Adrian Soriel, Jen Herkenroder, Lisa Winter. I could go on. And I mean, Sarah Mallion, my captain, as well, putting in yet another stake. Diana Tulson. I could keep naming all these amazing, huge, influential female figures in the sport, and honestly, it makes me so happy that we've got those now.
Absolutely.
I mean, going into the series, I looked at Witch Doctor's design. The minute it was unveiled, I felt good about the way that this robot was going to do. Looking at the both the Series 3 performance and the Hexbug version of the Series 3 robot, it was clear that the robot was struggling for bite. So splitting the wedge in the way that it did, I felt pretty confident it was going to go far. But to go all the way to the grand final, I think it proves beyond any reasonable doubt that anybody who thought that Witch Doctor was still sort of thriving off of that season 1 fight against Tombstone and really didn't have the brawn to back up its reputation were forever silenced. And although I bought Solanza Frog and I think it's done a fantastic job this year, I will be more than happy to vote for Witch Doctor for this award.
Solanza Frog has been coming on in leaps and bounds, yes, pun intended. And Nick is an amazing asset to the community in the fact that he gives so much back. And again, with Death Roll, they have been absolute trailblazer of 2019. They've been the surprise bot that no one quite expected. I think a lot of us went into the season, myself included, going, haha, it's the funny meme crocodile robot. And then by the end of the season, we're, sweating profusely at the fact that thing is so damn lethal. But I think if anyone has to be our bot of the year, it has to be the absolute trendsetter and icon that is Witch Doctor.
I have to agree.
Yes.
I mean, I will just say that knowing Nick from GTM and RA2, he is a top-notch guy, really friendly, really good, and fellow artist as well. I need to actually talk to him soon about art stuff.
His art is awesome.
It is.
I'm getting some stuff done later in the year when I can work it all out for my future featherweight done by Nick. I completely intend to, once I've got that build started and the name settled down and the theme worked out, the first person I'm contacting is Nick to get a logo done, because that's the thing you want to do. He's got this place in the community of just, do you want a really cool theme and logo for your bot? Go to Nick. I mean, he did stuff for Nelly. He did stuff for Ragnarok.
Yeah, Ragnarok stuff was amazing.
He did the Bugglebots logo.
And who else we need to appreciate in terms of art? It's our boy the Orc.
It is. I genuinely think that your art's been coming on in leaps and bounds as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing what 2020 brings to you in terms of art.
We'll talk about that later, but thank you.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm fully appreciative. Appreciative? That's not the word. Fully approving, yes, of Witch Doctor to get the award.
So that means that we would like to present the 2019 Bot of the Year Award for Extreme Scrutiny Club, the Ob Golden Overaward, to Witch Doctor. Cue canned applause.
Just cue that same shot of the crowd from Robot Wars that was used in every single season.
No, we need to get the canned cheering the Shuntcast uses, because that's really good, actually.
Right. Well, before we move on to the next award, I'd like to just take a moment to sort of sum up the year that we've had
Ooh, okay.
so far, because looking back on 2019, ESC sort of started out of nowhere, and has grown to become really, really fun, and our audience, you seem to enjoy it. We're getting great feedback, and I just want to take a moment to just thank all you guys for supporting what we're doing, for
Absolutely.
giving us feedback and helping us to grow and to reach new people and new guests, and just inspiring us to keep this little project going.
Yeah.
This started as a joke. It started as a little joke that we had, and now look at us.
Yeah, well, Oliver, wasn't it you that started it? Was it you?
It was kind of all three of us. I put up a meme on Shuntposting, and basically like a parody of the Top Gear Cool Wall, except the only thing in Sub-Zero was the robot Sub-Zero. And I think it was you and me, Mitch, who were just discussing the concept, and then I think I said something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, this might be a fun idea for a podcast," and then it sort of all spiraled out of control from there. And Reira joined in, and then the format became what it is, and it's been a blast.
It is. It's actually quite weird to think how it just came together. I remember the night we were going to first record. I was nervous. I was like, I've not talked to these two people on voice before. Oh God, what's going to happen? Oh God.
Yeah, I think we should point that out, that people say, "Oh, you've got such chemistry," and that was kind of the first time we talked as a threesome.
Oh God, choice of words.
I realised that, but I was already halfway through saying the word, and I couldn't think of something to replace it.
We are a comedy triumvirate. Thank you.
I like that, a comedy triumvirate. It was the first time we talked as a trio, and it just worked really well.
To bring us onto a point, we don't always agree with ourselves when we do things, and we're a voting podcast, we're a discourse and discussion podcast. But there are times when, after the episode and other points have been presented to us by fans or our own subconscious or guilt, that we get it wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that all of us sort of wanted to include this section where we discussed, did we get anything wrong? We put this out to people back in December.
Yeah.
And we got some interesting responses. And we're going to go over those again.
Yeah.
We had five major suggestions come up.
Well, I've actually had some more suggestions just while we've been recording this, but let's go through the 5 that we have.
So the 5 major ones. So Jeremy Hall, my Splody Boy team captain, and general awesome dude, like seriously great guy, friend of the podcast. Jeremy Hall says that we got it wrong on one.
I had my friend Evil Toaster say the same thing, and he sent me footage of Warrior Clan working and using its flipper correctly, and it was pretty powerful. But I've got to be honest, it relies on the spinner to build the energy up for the flipper. And I think when we were looking at the worst flippers, like, you're meant to just be a flipper, right? Okay, if you've got another weapon on the, like, if you've got like an axe like Mortis, or if you've got a who's that? Hydra. Hydra's a good example. Hydra's like better Mortis, essentially. It did good with both weapons, but if you rely on one weapon to power the other one, I feel that's just doesn't work really.
I feel we need to point out we're not talking about Hydra from BattleBots.
Oh yes, sorry.
Because I feel a few viewers may have raised their
Just
Hydra had a second
wave, a wave of anger.
Hey, I love the Robot Wars Hydra, and I really look
Yeah,
forward to
same
bringing that
here.
onto an episode someday.
Definitely. But within the confines of the Flipper episode, I feel I was right to bring Warrior Clan as a bad Flipper. And we mentioned that in the episode. It's a great robot. It's a great spinner. It's a terrible Flipper.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Y-Archies are always pushing the boundaries with engineering and what they can do, and it was a great concept.
Fusion looks like it's going to be fucking terrifying.
It was a fantastic concept. We give it that, but I don't feel like we need to change our opinion on this one.
like Reira said, it's a good spinner, but when you use a spinner to power up your flipper, and then they go that you can fire it now, and you either miss or just it underperforms. I mean, Bolt from the Blue's worse. It is.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
The game piece is fine. Game piece is flawless. But then you compare it to Mastiff, and Mastiff flipped once or twice, but it's better than relying on the spinners about your flipper. It flips by itself. That is not the worst flipper.
Hey, Mastiff got in the pack.
Oh yes, and speaking of which, the Good Rebuttal BattleBots pack. If you haven't checked it out, check it out, please.
Please do.
He puts lots of work into it, and he's planning updates. Exciting stuff.
Here's the thing: that playthrough video is now the second most viewed video on our channel.
I mean, also the fact that we got Mastiff in that pack.
We
We're
did.
the reason why.
Well, and Sam. We'll give Sam credit.
100%. And I actually brought that up on an episode of the Robocast as well. I finally guessed it on the Robocast. And I did lightly bring up the Massive. But yeah, that's another one that we've had brought to us quite a bit, Mastiff. And did we get it wrong by putting it in the arena? Hell no. We put that in because we were having such a goddamn good time discussing it, right?
But I genuinely think Sam made a great point about it, and I don't
Exactly.
think it needs to be revisited. It did better than Chaos 2 in that fight, and it's a shame that we didn't get to see more of it.
And the thing is that I know that people are going to say, but you've literally just debated about how, Warrior Clan is a bad flipper, but, Mastiff is a worse flipper. Yeah, but we're looking at them on different planes, I think. Each robot comes into our show without the confines of, the other robots that have been mentioned. We're not going, oh, this is going to the arena because it's better than the previous one we spoke about. Each robot is assessed, scrutinized, to use the wording of the podcast itself, is scrutinized to its own merits, and screw anyone who says Mastiff belongs in the pit. Massive.
I mean, admittedly, 2 points. We did kind of compare that episode because we were talking about worst flippers, and while we don't go right, well, this is better than that one, we go, well, this is how they worked, and compared to those two, I think me and Sam both said this. Mastiff was probably better working than the other two, but also, what was my other point? Oh shit, I've forgotten. I had a really good point. I've forgotten what it was. I think, just how, to use a wrestling term, I know Reira will understand this, Oliver might, I'm not too sure. Mastiff got over, it was...
It did.
It was quite surprising, and that was my point. I was going to pit Mastiff. I brought it with the intention of it being pitted, and I know we've mentioned this in the first episode we've recorded for 2020 of how I turned on it, and I've changed my mind. It's going to the arena, but I feel Mastiff really kind of deserved it, and that's probably the most surprising robot you could say that about. It's a surprise
In the kayfabe of ESC canon and lore, Mastiff is an overlord of great renown, and I feel that it would take a lot for us to go back on that decision. Speaking of taking a lot to go back on this decision, I'd like to point out that I did not bring this one. But we had several people mention that Detonator maybe deserved to go to the arena. Now, I am going to recuse myself from this discussion as extremely biased and let you two discuss this, because I feel that anything I say can and will be used against me.
Okay.
You've gotten far too used to the way this podcast works.
It's almost like I'm a host of it or something. Who would have known?
I'm okay. I'm going to be honest and just say no, but I respect how much Detonator means to you. And as much as me as as much as me and Oliver beat up on you about it, Detonator got squashed by Frenzy, and Mike is building a beetle weight Frenzy just to batter Detonator. I think, we respect what Detonator means to you, and we joke about it. It's a joke, and I think Detonator's always going to have a special place.
Yeah, I mean, I again will echo what Mitch has said. That first episode was a lot of fun to record, but one of my favourite bits was the whole bit that you mentioned about Detonator and what it means to you. We've had a lot of fun joking about it and ripping into it, but it has undeniably been a robot that's got you where you are today, and I think it does show that no matter what robot you enter into a show, that can become really important.
I'm the first to bring up how bad Detonator is. This is the thing. I don't deny that it's a bad robot, but it doesn't mean that I don't love it. So,
and that's okay.
It can be in the pit, and it can stay in the pit. And it won't stop being one of my favorite robots.
Absolutely. Speaking of controversial,
no, not this one.
This one really surprised me. I actually had two suggestions from the Seaboard, otherwise known as... What was his original name? I can't actually remember.
He does not have a name. He is known only as the Seaborg.
His name's Dom, but I can't... He had another name. Doodle, that was it. His name was Doodle. He's now known as Seaborg. He came with two suggestions for this section. So he said this is about Blacksmith. So I feel like if I can, request Blacksmith to go to the pit. I have nothing against Al, but I feel like unless Blacksmith is seriously improved, it won't impress. Will always be a mid-card robot people recognise and want to do well, but failing, much like how Duck is becoming. Oh, I feel this is controversial.
Ooh.
And this isn't just about Blacksmith at this point. You mentioned Duck, and I'm like, hang on a minute, hold up. No, don't be saying anything like that about Duck.
I mean, what would he prefer? Blacksmith to become a vert?
The thing is that I have the utmost respect for Al Kindle, not just because I love Hammerbots. I mean, there's a reason I joined the Nelly team, but that man just doesn't let anything get to him. There is constant vitriol and hate for Hammerbots in general and for Blacksmith as well, especially for getting to that top 16 this last year. But I feel we did it justice. I feel that within the confines of the episode, again, because I feel like that's going to be the description we have for a lot of these. Within the confines of the episode, we did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that everyone has to remember really is that arena or pit, it's no ultimate overall scale of robots. We're not creating ultimate guide to good and bad robots.
We aren't the be all and end all. We are not the authority on. This has always been a podcast for fun and opinion, not fact. When we put something in the pit, it doesn't mean it is a bad robot fact. It means that we have discussed this and we have personally decided that that is where we are putting it.
Yeah.
If we've put something you really damn love in the pit, then sure. We're not against you. We don't hate that robot. I don't think we hate any robot really, do we?
Don't think so. Not as far as I'm aware.
Apart from Frenzy.
Fuck's sake. But I mean, if you think about it, we've even sent robots that we care for or we like. Detonator, Warhog.
Detonator.
You know, robots that we admire or respect. We're probably like the only people that like that robot. We have sent it to Pit. We've disagreed sometimes on robots that go to the arena. The stag. But I think, it's not the be all or end all. It's just our opinion. We're three people. Two of us are builders. One of us is just a guy that watches and is a fan, and that's all that he cares
You're
about.
a huge part of the community. Don't shut up.
No, I'm not putting myself down. Hang on.
Yeah, but you always say you're not a builder, but you do stuff in RA2 that most people cry to be able to do.
My point is that, like, I hold duty to high regard, and I think, because you're builders, but my opinion still means something, and I think that's why this works, because it's not just three builders or three people that don't build or three armchair builders. We're three people who I think are quite respectable. We listen to each other. We may laugh and joke about things. We can be serious when need be, about certain detonator, or one from a future episode which we do need to re-record. We're very serious about that one at points. That's just our thing. We are not the be all and end all. We have a lot of fun with this podcast, but sorry if we put a robot in the arena that you disagree with, but yeah, that's it really. It's just for fun. Please don't hate us. That being said, I can't agree with this. Blacksmith is unique. For a hammer robot, it is unique. It is fire hammer, burning hammer, to make a wrestling reference again. Very sturdy, very resilient. Takes the fucking damage. But it's a great robot. I can't put it in the pit because what's a good way to explain this? It's like Blacksmith has been upgraded, right? It has had changes, and I think it has been getting better. I can't see why you can say, oh, same old. I think it has improved. Al has worked on it. But then you look at something like Chaos 2, and I would love to talk about Chaos 2 in the future, because this would be a downside for it. Chaos 2 did not improve. Chaos 2 was the same thing. But it was a champion. And okay, if it was champion, fair enough. But at the same point, I'm like, there's no improvements. You are going to lose eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't put Blacksmith down. I can't go against. That's very ranty. I apologise.
No, I agree. Absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think what Al has achieved with getting a bot that has struggled with knockout power into the top 16 cannot be understated. And again, in the context, I feel like we need to recognise that.
Yeah, and it's probably one of the most signature BattleBots robots at this point.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
Because of that burning hammer.
It's a staple of modern BattleBots. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Alrighty then. So we've had several suggestions, and none of which have been changed.
Until this one, maybe. This was a one that surprised me, and this is from Seaborg again. I was not expecting this. I'm going to say the same thing as Reira, that I didn't put this one forward. Seaborg did. Warhog deserves an arena place, I feel. It's got a good design. When it worked well. And before Typhoon came along, it was technically the most powerful horizontal shell spinner. Now, I brought Warhog, and I had a feeling that it wasn't going to go to the arena. I was surprised. I can't remember which one of you two voted for it. One of you did. We'll have to rewatch the episode.
I think it was me.
I think it was you. I wanted to put it in the arena, but I felt guilty about doing so. But then when Seaborg made that point, I thought about it and went, hang on a tick. He's actually got a fucking good point. Because holy shit, Warhog did hit like a fucking truck.
I mean, it had a 30-kilo weapon.
Yeah. I mean, going into 2020, my build philosophy personally has changed quite a lot. And the idea of a heavy... I know we usually get jokey when I talk about Ariadne because, of course, it's a stupid robot that's going to yeet, itself at walls and break apart. Like, honestly, the design ethos I had behind it was I wanted a weapon, and we went through several different ideas before settling on the undercutter disc. I wanted a weapon almost as heavy as half We went for over that in the end with 800 grams, but I love that. And my appreciation for Warhog has gone up since then. And I genuinely can't look at Warhog without thinking it was a pioneer of its time. And I have to say, I want to rescind my pit vote here.
My God. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I felt guilty about turning on it at the start, but read that point. I was like, that's a very good point. And not all pioneers can pioneer successfully. Like, look at, I know that people argue that in America it's different, but for us in the UK, Cassius was the pioneer of the Streamec. Rest in peace, Rex Garrett. And, you know, not all pioneers do succeed, but Warhog was powerful. It hit like a freight train, broke down, or the weapon broke down, and it was just piggybacking on bloody Swidsy. But I feel that it wasn't just power, it had character. And everyone knows by now I'm a stickler for character in robots, and Warhog has that. And I would like to rescind my vote too, which I think makes it 3-0.
It does indeed. I am
Yay!
sticking by my initial vote.
Yeah.
Thank God you're not evil. You're not going to go, oh, okay, 2-1. That being said, you said you had a few that you wanted to bring.
I do, yeah. So this has been fairly last minute, and I'm scrolling through a bit of a chat here. So sorry if I take a minute to get through the all of the details here. But I have 3 robots that have been
Ooh.
bought
Okay.
for us to re-review.
Okay.
Okay.
The first 2 have come from Anderson9132.
The robot was Guru.
The robot was Guru. The first one he's brought up is, I think Lucky deserves a second look, simply because of its basement fight against Kraken that proves that it's great when it works. And I'm not going to lie, it was an incredible fight.
That's a really good point. But you're going, hey, can you take back that thing that you said about all 200 billion of Lucky's fights because it did this in one fight?
Exactly what I was going to say.
You again, we made the point in the episode that we really like Lucky as a robot. I mean, as much as it looks like it's taking a tricky shit. To double down on that phrase. It's one fight. Come on.
I mean, you look at its super heavyweight counterpart, and yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
definitely works well when it
But that's not the same robot. That'd be like me going, hey, you know how Nat 20 was really crap, but yeah, take a look at, how really cool Babunator did at the Antweight World Series. Like, Babunator did great.
I mean,
They're not the same robot.
I mean, yeah, it's the same design. I am not going to lie, I was very impressed by the Lucky Kraken fight and how well it did do. I think we should hold out judgment on this one until if we get a season 5, season 6 maybe, see how Lucky does. If Lucky can redeem itself by showing a more consistent track record,
Sure.
then I think it's worth a revisit. But for now,
I'm just watching that fight now. Holy shit, that's a good flip. Like, oh, Lucky, you bastard.
if only it could have done that in the main competition.
Yes, holy shit, it's fucking suplexing Kraken.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed. I am honestly disappointed. It's doing well, but I can't change my vote on one fight. Yeah, I have to agree. We have to kind of wait on that one. I think if we get a season 5 this year, and at the end, 2021 or 2020 awards, sorry, it's done really well, then I might be lenient and go back on it.
All right, so the second one that we've got from Anderson is he has brought up Fluffy.
Okay. The confines of that episode are a bit strange because we were discussing how spooky it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, we've got to bear in mind, as we were saying, that the context of the episodes
is very important to our decisions.
are very
yes.
important to our decisions. but as a robot,
It was all right.
he calls it, and I'm quoting here, an overrated waste of space that constantly died under no pressure.
Ooh,
Ooh, it's the bot serial killer. How
And-
dare he?
To be fair, he has a point.
But under the confines of the episode, it's a robot serial killer. You can't. Okay, I think. Do you know what, Anderson? Talking directly to you right now.
oh god.
You make a valid point. Make a damn valid point. But I refuse to let this robot move on the simple fact that everything we said in that episode makes it a hella spooky robot. And you can be spooky and crap. Case closed. Mic dropped, although it's not because it's on a stand. But
I honestly think that Fluffy was a bit like Warhog in the essence of it was powerful but broke down a lot. I mean, admittedly, Fluffy won matches. Warhog didn't win a match in its life. Which, if you're going by that logic, then Fluffy is in super heaven, super arena in the sky. If Warhog's 3-0 now, Fluffy had some terrible matches where it just broke down immediately or broke down or whatever. But I don't think we can really move on it because it was destructive. It was powerful. It beat Terahertz, if I'm not mistaken.
It did in Series 5, the original version, Terahertz. I think the thing is with Fluffy is, and Robot Wars in general has a tendency to do this, is to pick up on one thing that a robot did years and years and years ago and constantly talk about it for the rest of that robot's career. Examples like Agrabot versus Razor, as much as we love Agrabot, it's constantly brought up every time that robot fights. Behemoth making the grand final in Series 2, even after a long streak of bad luck, it's still brought up every single time. And I think the same is true with Fluffy and taking off Pussycat's blade, which maybe gives this robot a little bit more clout than it actually has. But again, I think within the confines of the episode, it was pretty spooky.
it was the fact that it lent its batteries out to people and stuff, and those robots died. And our whole little chat about it sitting giggling away in the audience as it watched robots die.
So we're not moved on that one, and I am not surprised. The last one has been very controversial. There are a lot of messages about this one in the chat, so it's going to take me a while to go through them all.
Uh-oh.
Our friend World of Woodrow seems to
hey,
have a bit
Woodrow.
of a vendetta against the
Uh-oh.
Martian.
Oh!
How dare he, my precious boy!
Oh shit, the Martian! I almost fell out of the chair.
The precious boy! How could he do this? What dare he say?
His argument seems to boil down to it did more damage to the camera crew than it did to anything else. It wasn't much of a proof of concept because every time it tried to walk, it fell over. Yeah, he just seems to have this really strong hatred.
I just messaged Jim. I said, you little shit, you're talking shit about my precious boy without mentioning a robot. And all he did in Kill Capitals is, it isn't a good robot.
He sums it up with, it was meant to be a competitive robot in a competition.
I honestly feel that the Martian, it's so unique. You can't take that away from it, and it moved. It self-righted. It's technically a walker, right? It has to be, and I can't back down on my point. The Martian deserves to be in arena simply because it's unique as fuck.
I am gonna back down.
What?
We have spoken very heavily about this episode, about our choices being based on the confines of the episode. And I don't think, in the confines of amazing Chinese robots, does the Martian still get the points that I made. If we were talking about goofy humanoid robots, or fun robots, or robots that made me smile and became my precious boy, then yes. But I will concede to Mr. Woodrow that there may well have been better robots from China.
I want to stop you a sec, right? Because we're talking about China robots, and admittedly, it's different. Of course, it's different. It's one of the most unique robots that's ever been built. But in terms of Chinese engineering, that thing's a fucking marvel.
I mean, yeah, I think my point in the episode was that because China is a relatively new country to building combat robotics, you get things that you wouldn't get anywhere else. You get your Zhuzhes, you get your Martians, and that they have as much chance of doing something interesting and even having success.
But I hate the fact that we are basing this. The problem was the confines of the episode were too vague.
Okay, I will make one other point, and I believe I'm saying this. So, what was the Martian from again? It was
King of Bots.
King of Bots. Thank you.
2019 King of Bots.
Thank you. I completely forgot what it was from.
You can tell it's not from Clash Bots because it doesn't look like a robot from every other show.
We brought up Mastiff earlier.
Oh
And-
no.
Now, hang on. This is my point. Now, I know King of Bots. This isn't like the first series of King of Bots, right? But in the same context of Mastiff kind of being the first of a new breed of Italian bots, Italian robotics starting of whatever. If Chinese engineering has only recently started, it's a more extreme example, but you kind of got to look at it the same way.
Chinese roboteering has been going for quite a while and has evolved into some really stellar fucking robots. And I love that. Don't get me wrong, I love the Martian. And I am having strong words with Mr. Woodrow, Mr. Newsboy, right now about how I am upset at him bad mouthing my precious walkie washing machine.
Okay, let me word it like this. Okay, my opinion, if we say Mastiff was, what's the closest thing? Okay, I don't want to say Recyclops because it's a bit different, but Recyclops Roadblock, kind of mixture of those two, right?
Sure.
I would argue Martian is like Psycho Sprout. I know it's probably a really bad comparison, but it's the essence of the scene started, and Psycho Sprout was literally a car in a ball, but the Martian is not on wheels. So it moves around in such a unique way that, okay, you know what, it probably wouldn't have won a fight, but I think it's the engineering behind it, the Marvel kind of thing from it.
I think that's exactly the best analogy for that. Martian is the Psycho Sprout, or to King of Bots as to what Psycho Sprout was to Series 1 of Robot Wars. It just shows the ingenuity and the creativity when metas have yet to set in a sort of a slightly less defined and out competitive is probably the wrong word, but
Sure.
like I said, there's less of sort of a try hard meta.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like,
I definitely agree with that.
if you look at Series 1 of Robot Wars, I mean, it was won by a wedge.
Wedge.
In Series 1, you had Champion, which was a wedge, but then you had things like Recyclops, which introduced a flipper. You had things like Kilotron with the overhead axe. Then you had the really weird things like Detonator, Psycho Sprout.
Introducing the ramming pole.
The ramming pole. Full speed. Oh, wait, the batteries are gone. Sorry.
Fuck. You guys jerks.
But, as much as Psycho Sprout was a fucking car in a ball, that at the time was really fucking different and unique. Like, if someone did it today, I mean, people would still admire it and stuff, but I think, it never took off. There's probably a reason for that.
Sure.
And Martian, I think the same thing. It's not going to take off, probably, but you need things like that, because if you didn't have the bots that stood out, then it just gets boring.
It's these kind of bots that help the scene to grow, that that spark interest. It's the kind of bots that you draw when you're 5 years old, and you give it all the saws and a flipper at one end, and just the completely over the top things.
Yeah.
That spark interest and that help to grow the scene. And I stand by my vote of sending the Martian to the arena.
Well, we'll make one last point. I know we've discussed a lot about this, but I feel like it's quite an important point. If you look at the meta today, in most places, it's flippers, spinners. There's a few hammers mixed in. But I think if you look throughout robotic history, there have always been those robots that stood out. A few I can think of. Detour, simply because not really a serious contender, but was there for the kind of like the comedy effect. It burns, it's got that stupid, goofy grin. You've got something which was made entirely out of scrap, and we're positively archaic now, to quote Mr. Dig. And then a BattleBots one I can think of, and I hope I've got the name right, Tower of Power, which was a fucking massive.
I thought you were going to go for the Scrap Daddy series.
I mean,
Scrap
I
Daddy.
would go with Mechadon.
Yeah, there you go, Mechadon.
Or if you want something that's really, really there to wow and impress over win fights, what about Rex?
Yeah, there you go. In fact, Mechadon is probably a fantastic analogy for the Martian, because Mechadon was there since the start. And I know, again, this is King of Bots Series 2 or whatever it is, but it's kind of the same thing. It's like Mechadon, Martian. That's a pairing right there.
Yeah. I think that we're rounding this up with the fact that we're going to make no change.
We've changed your mind again.
We're going to make no changes. No, again, you've brought me back around to this logic that, within the confines of the episode matters to a point, but we also can't put down a robot for being what it is.
He's going to have a great so much this episode. He's like, yes, changed your mind. And then, oh yeah, I'm going back to... No!
Well, we have one last robot to bring
Oh,
up.
we have one more.
One last robot to bring up.
And then we have another award to get to before we finish.
And then we have another award to get to. Our friend, Mr. Ned Allman, of Robot Wars Shuntposting fame, argues that Tiger Wood should have gone to the arena, and the only reason it didn't was because Mike made a joke about it that sent it to the pit.
I was asleep for this episode, so I'm going to bow out.
Right, hang on. So, Reira was reffing, right? So it was...
You say reffing. That's a very complimentary
nice,
version of the term.
I mean, you wanted to send it to the arena, Mitch, and then Mike said, and I'm going to try and quote him as accurately as I can. There's fire in the pit. Tiger Wood is made of wood. I want to see a wooden robot burn.
And you agreed with him.
I did.
I put this in the arena because I thought, even though it's a wooden robot, it was fucking good. It was. I mean, it
was
ultraviolence.
I can't deny that.
It lost to ultraviolence in a spectacular fashion, but it did really well.
Was this the one that looks like Bite Force? Again, I was asleep.
Ultraviolence is Bite Force, essentially. Tiger Wood was... What's Tiger Wood? I forgot.
Tiger Wood was the sort of wooden robot with the, metal, trowel attachment.
Okay, yes, I think I vaguely remember.
Have a quick Google. We can edit this bit out.
Yeah.
No, please don't edit this bit out. I mean, I'll Google it, but I have no idea. Oh, this one. Yeah, I don't remember it.
Wow, that was a big nothing. Oliver, I know you agreed because of the joke, but Tiger Wood deserves the arena, man.
Yes, it deserves the arena, but I feel the joke was so good at the time.
I hate you. Okay, that was not changing.
I genuinely don't know, because it definitely deserves the arena, but I don't want to send it to the arena and undermine how hilarious that episode was.
Okay, you know what? I'll let you have that. But I've got a robot to bring. And this is one I want you to... Because you admitted this earlier on this very episode. Good sir, You said that if Sir Lancelot improved and did better, you would change your vote for it. And you said it did. So,
It did.
are you going to change your vote on it, sir?
I mean, it already went to the arena. Yes, I'm going to change my vote to Salon and go 3-0.
Yes!
But I still hold by the points that I said in that episode for
That makes sense.
relating to season 1.
Yeah, that's fine. We've changed it because it's improved. In fact, I'll make a tactical adjustment to this because there we go. There's the star, and then it was 2 and 1 originally, so not much of a difference. But there we go. Got that noise.
I think that's it for corrections. If you have any more audience, please leave them down below, and we will make a note of them and get round to them probably at the 2020 wrap up. But feel free to give us some more things to discuss.
And always feel free to drop something in the comments or to our Facebook page or to me personally on Twitter. Just let us know, like, if you think we've made a mistake, because we want to hear that. We love to hear that.
Yeah.
However, we talked a lot about setting things on fire in that section, didn't we? Do you know what would be an awesome robot that can be set on fire?
Go on.
Ramron Bit.
Oh.
And do you know what's an award they give out for music in America?
It's a Grammy.
So I'd like to introduce the Rammy, the ESC Retrobot Award of 2019. So the rules for ESC Retrobot 2019 are a Retrobot. I believe it's one that we spoke about.
Yes.
We had to bring one that we spoke about. And it is our pick for 2019's Retrobot. Like, what bot made you go, yeah, I'm glad that robot existed in 2019 that we covered. Now, what's everyone brought with them?
I want to go last.
Okay, sure.
My 2019 Retrobot of the Year is Onslaught.
Oh,
this is a robot that we've actually covered twice on ESC.
No, we haven't.
Once at the Live at Robo Nerd special, and once at the other Facebook Live thing that we do not talk about.
The cursed stream.
And last.
Hey, we'll do another one. We'll do a better one.
The reason why I'm bringing Onslaught is because not only have we covered it twice and really enjoyed looking into this robot's history, but also it turned up at RoboNerd. And not only did it turn up at RoboNerd, it ran at RoboNerd. And some of my highlights from this year and robots in general is going to be seeing Onslaught drive around a random car park in Wolverhampton while Dave Moulds ramps a remote control monster truck up the front of its flipper. It was just so entertaining to watch and was one of the many, many highlights of that day for me.
It certainly wasn't what I was expecting when I went to RoboNerd. I certainly didn't expect to see monster trucks doing flips off of Onslaught. Nearly called it Overhaul. RoboNerd 2020. Let's get Charles Guan all the way over. Bring Overhaul. We'll pay you in pieces of Miku. That's how that works, right?
Pieces of.
Sure, why not? She's digital. It's fine. I'm bringing a robot that I actually brought with me. I'm bringing Centurion because before we did the ESC podcast and before we set up like the obscure favorite robots episode, I'd almost forgotten Centurion existed. And the joy that it brought me to rewatch their fights and rediscover their awesome design and just remember how damn cool they were is one of the main reasons why I've loved doing this show. So I think, you know what? Hands down, cards on the table, Centurion deserves to win Retrobot of the Year.
Au contraire, because I have the trump card.
Donald Trump. Can't win. He's not a robot.
Well, but that we know of. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to... No, that wasn't... I was going to go into a Trump impression, but for some reason my Trump impression is not going to work tonight.
Huge. Brilliant. Huge.
Huge.
God damn it. I'm bringing a robot that I didn't originally bring.
Okay.
And it's a robot we've talked about several times tonight. And this may surprise you, but I feel this has got important kind of qualities here.
I'm scared.
I'm bringing Detonator.
What?
Yes. I'm not joking,
Okay.
I'm being serious.
Okay, I'm listening. Talk to me. First, you had my attention.
So, I talked earlier about how Detonator was important to you and, you know, how
Yeah.
it's a special robot, as much as me and Oliver beat up on it. But I feel that Detonator is probably one of the big reasons why we're on the map. It was one of the first robots we covered. Me and Oliver, we brought the robots that we did because we liked them. That's it. But Detonator is more of a, this robot means the world to me, this robot is what inspired me, this robot is now a big part of my life because you now have the rights to make these robots again. And it's like,
I have some fun things to tell you about that in the wrap up at the end as well.
you know, I feel that I feel like your two picks, fair enough, make sense, but I feel that I would feel wrong, and this is one of the people that bullied you for Detonator. I would feel wrong if Detonator didn't have this award.
That's really means a lot. I talk a lot about favorite robots, and if we're being honest, like I said many times, like I know Detonator is crap, and if you ask me to pick a robot to be my sidekick and like a robot that I could like put into the arena every single time as a heavyweight, if I could take one stock heavyweight as it is now and have it, wouldn't actually be Detonator. 100% would be Concussion. I love Concussion almost as much as I love Detonator. In fact, maybe a little bit more. But Concussion didn't have the same effect on my childhood because it wasn't around.
Yeah.
And I've said it all in that first episode, and I'll say it all again. It wasn't that the robot was good. It wasn't that the robot was cool looking, and it wasn't that the robot did well. It was because it was a female team, and because it was a robot that looked like I could build it. And that's what it meant to me. It meant to me that I could do this. It meant that little, however old I was at the time, Reira started going, I'm going to start doodling robots on bits of paper and naming them things like buttered toast and waving them at my family and asking them which ones would win. And now look at me. I am on a BattleBots team. I have probably one of the scariest soon-to-be beetle weights in the UK, if I may toot my own horn. I've grown into robotics thanks to that inspirational moment as a kid where I went, I could do that. I could build one of those. Fuck it. I don't feel right voting for it because I feel like I'm voting for myself. But yeah, Detonator.
Oliver, what would you like to say?
I could not agree more. I honestly could not agree more with everything that's been said. As I said earlier in the episode, one of my highlights for those early episodes of ESC was that the how much the Detonator meant to you, the passion and emotion that you put into your pitch, and I think we need to acknowledge that, even if we're not going to send it to the arena. But
it didn't deserve its spot in the arena, but god damn it, does it deserve an award?
Oh, absolutely, it deserves an award. And to build on what Mitch said, it's one of the things that has defined the identity of this podcast, Detonator, and it's put that robot back on the map for so many people.
I think I might have to add Detonator back to logo somehow.
It is kind of funny, yeah, actually. You make a valid point that we took Detonator off the logo simply because I've been moving away and I've been trying to move towards a more serious approach to robotics. I rebranded my team. I've started renaming my robots away from the original theme that I went for. I'm trying to make a home for myself in robotics. Now that I've got that foothold, I need to find a space. And I don't think we'll ever change. I don't think we'll change the logo away from being Nelly. One of the reasons I'm known to the community. Being part of Team Nelly is and will be one of my biggest parts. But Detonator will always be part of my life.
Yeah.
So it is with great pleasure that I can announce that we will be giving the 2019 Rammy to Dartford Girls Grammar's Green Dome superstar and survivor-ish of Frenzy, Detonator. And to capitalize on this as a moment, I've been asking some interesting questions to some specific people in the beetle weight community about rules on beetle weights and sizes.
Okay.
Now, did you know that in the UK, so long as all of the safety features are there is no rule on size in UK beetle weights?
Uh-oh.
Did you also know that I have the rights to build a new detonator?
Oh no.
Did you also know that paper mache and chicken wire are very light?
Oh no. How big are you going to make this thing?
I'm making a life-size detonator for RoboNerd.
Oh god.
I'm making a life-size legal beetle weight detonator that will be coming with me whenever I can to beetle weight events to go into rumbles. So that when everyone goes, the rule is it's got to get through the door, and I think if I put it in sideways, it will get in.
Oh my god. That's going to giant everything else. That's going
Her name is Tripwire.
to...
The ramming pole will be a wrapping paper tube.
I love this so much.
And she is going to be making her debut at RoboNerd 2020.
Oh my fucking god.
So look out for that, because it's happening. And if you want, do you want the really scary fact? Do you want the really scary fact?
Go on.
Would you like to know what drive she's on?
No, go on. Tell us.
No gearbox, brushless op box. She is speed.
Reira, I'm worried that she's going to crash through the wall of the arena.
No, actually, so I've actually also been looking into an alternate version where I use 6. If you're into ant weights, you'll know these off by heart. 6 N20 motors. But there is also a very funny thing in the fact that when I dig through my bot parts in my workshop, there are 2 op box motors sat there staring at me going, please use us, Reira, use us.
Use us for giant detonator.
It's not giant, it's life size.
Oh god.
I'd also like to take this opportunity to say a special shout out to someone. Mr. Psycho has said that he's going to try and bring a beetle weight frenzy. Try destroying something that's 5 times your size, my dude. Detonator's coming for revenge.
This is the hype match of RoboNerd 2020. Last time it was King
Please.
D versus 101.
This time
This
it's
time.
Detonator Frenzy. Please
Detonator
hype this up
Frenzy.
on social media. I beg of you, ESC audience. Let Simon Harrison know that this fight is coming and it is the main event. This is Macho Man Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan. This is your Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. This is your big time WWE Robo Nerd champion of life-size paper mache detonator versus whatever the hell Frenzy Mike brings.
In before you make a title for beetle weight.
I'm bringing a belt.
Oh my god.
I'm bringing a plastic WWE championship. I've got it on my watch list on Amazon.
The RoboNerd Challenge belt.
You know what? I think at this point, if Reira's going to talk about this, I might have to look into making a bit robot now because I want that belt.
I didn't realise that we were changing the name of the show to Robot Wars Extreme School Club.
Yeah.
I think that brings us on nicely to some reflections and then some what's in store and just a general wrap up for the New Year episode. like I mentioned at the very front end of the episode, which is however long away now, this is our second attempt at this.
Yep.
We're all very tired. I've gone through a job loss. Mitch has been going super hard on making Orcs Wars, and Oliver has been to beta weight tournaments and things. We've all been working so damn hard on our lives right now, and I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, thank every single one of you for taking the moment to subscribe or listen, even just to 1 minute of an episode, because you are what make us want to do this.
Without a doubt.
We have some plans for 2020 that I can't mention because nothing is finalized. Something merch, something. But from here on out, we want to keep making ESC because of you, because of the response we get and because of the hype we get every episode. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of our heart.
Absolutely. And we will continue to work hard to try and produce the best episodes that we can. We've got all sorts in store for this year. Obviously going to be looking at Bugglebots 2, the new series of BattleBots, if it happens. And we've got an enormous list of guests that is only getting longer.
It's getting worse and worse. We've got some really big names queued up for 2020 as well. Like some really interestingly big names are going to be on the podcast this year.
I think it's safe to say that when we started this, we didn't expect much, but the fact that in a year, well, I mean, it's not been a year, but I'd say about 8 months, because I think we started in April.
We started just as BattleBots was starting, so...
So, there you go, it's a timescale for you. I don't think we really expected much from it. We were just doing it for fun. And the fact we've hit 100 subscribers, thanks for that, by the way. We really appreciate that. And, the fact that people message us and say, hey, we want a collab or we want to be on your podcast, it really means a lot to us.
Call out to some very specific people as well. Come join us on the show. Spinnerproof, we want you. Robocast, we want more stuff with you. Actually, Robotics, stand by. Come get on this fucking show.
Hell, I mean, we've even got some people from RA2 hopping on soon, which I'm actually quite excited to do.
Know.
Hop in, Severlant. Hello. Look forward to have you on.
Why did you have to beat me at Antweight World Series, Seb?
Yeah.
Why did you have to beat Certbot? She was so young.
They're not sorry.
The community as a whole has been so supportive of ESC, and we've heard nothing but good things. But we're always looking to improve. So I think my final piece is 2020 for ESC. What we have in store and the reflections we've had on the last year as a whole are we've made a damn good start, and we want to keep going up. So if you ever have an idea, if you ever have a robot that you'd like to see us cover in the future, never fear to drop us a message. Find me on Twitter, find the page on Facebook, whatever it may be, let us know, because we want to hear that from you. We make this for the fan. One last thing, hypothetical.
Okay.
BattleBots Season 5, 2020, if it happens, who have you got to win the title?
Fuck.
Witch Doctor.
You know what? Okay.
You're going to say Death Roll.
As much as Bite Force being 3-time champion now at this point is amazing, and modern day Chaos 2, essentially, I want someone else to win.
Something K2.
I would love Death Roll to win. I don't think it would, but I would love it to. Witch Doctor. Hell, you know what? I'd love to see Tombstone win again. As much as people would be like, it's won again. I would like to see Tombstone win again. Tombstone just has that kind of character about it. Who else? There was actually someone I was thinking of.
Nelly.
At a push. Okay, I'll tell you someone I would like to win, and it's different, but I think we've all said this before, that we'd love to see it. I'd love to see Huge win. Huge winning would be so different. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Oliver, who you putting forward?
I'm going to be very, very cagey on the whole thing, and because there's so many good robots in development right now as we speak. And it is entirely possible.
Really?
It is entirely possible that a brand new rookie is going to come in and do a Yeti and walk through the season.
Yeah.
And I almost expect that to happen.
It would be pretty cool.
I would like to see Gigabyte do better. I think that Robot has a lot of pedigree and it's not been able to live up to it the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I'm gonna withhold making any kind of judgment until we're a little bit closer to the series. And I know that's a bit of a cop out, but there's too many variables. But whatever happens, if Series 5 goes ahead, it will be incredible.
Yeah. I will just build on Oliver's point and say that to do better, I'd like to see Lucky do better. We mentioned this. I would love to see Lucky do better. If it can do that in one match, and if it can do it better in season 5, you know, it's possible they do a Ziggy, and I would be down for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. In which case, I think it is time for us to wrap up our new year.
I think it is time for us to wrap up. I would like to sort of throw in a little disclaimer at the end. If you did raise a robot with us or ask us a question for us to answer in this special and it didn't end up getting answered,
We'll do an ESC extra. Yeah, we'll do an ESC.
we might do an ESC extra if you leave anything that we missed in the comments. As we've said a couple of times, this is the second time recording this episode, and it's been a good few weeks until we actually did the initial recording. So it's more than possible that things may have slipped through the cracks. But we are more than happy to do an ESC extra. If you have more questions or robots to review, drop them in the comments, and we'll take a look.
Yeah.
I just want to take one last moment as well to thank all of the guests we've had on this year. So all the way back to the very beginning, I'd like to thank Sam Elliott, Tim Rackers, Mr. Psycho, Anthony Murney, Gus Collier, Charlie Hubbard, Sam Taylor, Chris Hart, Sarah Mallion, Mr. Psycho again, and to another lost episode, Razor Glass, to Jim Dramatic, who we will be having on. We will have him on again and make it right, because that was another lost episode for the exact same reason we lost the New Year episode.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone who was on 2019.
Absolutely. You've really helped make the show what it is.
And we've enjoyed having you on. We've had some amazing laughs.
All right. In which case, to 2020, guys.
To 2020.
To 2020.
And I think we'll all see you on the other side.